So let's talk about boundaries. Before you can draw boundaries with anyone else, you have to be able to clearly define who you are. It's down to a simple process. If their presence as they come to you now isn't a pleasure in your life, then you need to make a change or request a change in them so that that can be a positive experience. If your brother or your sister or your mom or dad or anyone comes into your life and every time they do, they treat you like they're an ass to you, well, then that needs to change. The person that is crossing those boundaries, that refuses to acknowledge your requirements for the relationship, they don't feel bad. They're not sitting there moping. In fact, in a lot of instances, these people actually take pride in the fact that they continue to do things the way they do. One of the easiest ways to draw a boundary is just stop answering the phone. Don't answer the door. They'll get the message. I mean, if that's whatever's easiest for you, remember, this is your survival tool. It has nothing to do with them. A more practical way, if you believe that the person you're dealing with is open to suggestions and would actually change their behavior if the relationship were at risk. In other words, if they knew that you were right at the point where you were getting ready to cut the relationship completely off, where they didn't have access to you, and they were flexible enough to maybe that might impact them to change your life, well then of course that's what you need to do. I mean, because the idea is to preserve the relationship under the rules where both of you benefit from the experience. But love isn't a ticket to be abused. Love isn't authorization for someone to treat you like crap. Love doesn't have anything to do with the fact that maybe when your dad comes over and you're trying to discipline your children, he keeps intervening by going, "Oh, honey, it's okay. Oh, come here," and he nurtures them and he circumvents everything you try and do, right? That doesn't help the child or you. If you do in fact have a conversation with someone, or regardless, whether you just cut ties and tell them I'm done, it's over, and you don't ever bother to call them again, and if they call you, you ignore their calls, they get the message. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But let's say you have that conversation and you want to work it out. You want them to adhere to your rules and to acknowledge that you have boundaries and that they need to adhere to them. Well, generally what happens is there's a couple scenarios that happen here. First of all, what they'll do is they'll do what they always do, and they use that emotional guilt. They'll use their emotional tools to get into your head about, you don't love me and all this stuff. You know what? Get past all this. This isn't about love. This is about stopping the pain. If you stick your finger in a flame, it's burning. How do you stop it from burning? You pull your finger out of the flame. That's all this is. Love or not, it's about removing the pain. The only difference is instead of your finger, it's your heart. And that's the bottom line. The other thing that's really important, and I've said this before when I talk about relationships, is that you can never jump in the emotional car with anyone you're trying to have a conversation with. And this doesn't just cover this area of concern, this covers any conversation that you have where there's an escalation of emotion. Because when you jump in that emotional car with them, instead of having one upset person and one person that's calm, doing what they're supposed to, listen to the conversation and maintaining a level, even keel, if you adopt their frustration and their anger and their anxiety, then it explodes. And now you have two excited, angry, frustrated people. Where's the medium? Who coordinates and who controls that conversation at that point? So that's another way to control how the conversation goes when you draw boundaries with people, and that is, if they start to get upset, the more upset they get, the calmer you get. The louder they get, the quieter you get. And at no time do you ever engage them on their level. In other words, what a lot of people who do, and a lot of these people are manipulative, and they know your buttons, especially when they love you and they've been raised around you, is they will throw cues out there that they know enlist responses. They'll make a comment about how you are as a parent, or they'll talk about how they were there for you, and these things to enlist guilt and empathy and shame. You have to show up at this crisis, and you have to be able to control the situation and evaluate and make decisions based on what's going on around you, what's best for you. And you can't do that if you continually respond in the same way that you always do to their conversation, to their accusations, to their attitude, and to their shaming comments. So, all in all, what it amounts to is you have the right to have the life you want. And if the people that you love come into your life and their presence in your life is not a pleasure, it doesn't bring you happiness and contentment, then you can tell them, hey, listen, you need to change some stuff because I'm not enjoying this relationship the way it is now. But don't feel obligated to, because there are some people, when you look at their lives and look at how your interactions have been in the past, you just have to accept the fact that they're never going to say, you know, honey, you're right. I've been kind of intrusive and I haven't respected you in your relationship and I haven't respected your husband or you guys as parents. I'm sorry. I will step back. And you tell me when I'm crossing the line and I will step back because I love you enough to be able to do that. I want a relationship with you. It's not going to happen. But unless the person on the other side has the same goal, it's not going to work and you're going to end up getting hurt. And they'll do things like call you or send you a card or maybe make a snide comment on social media, something just to get you to respond, to open up a dialogue, to get you to interact. Don't fall for it. It's like putting your finger back in that flame. It's going to hurt. It's simple, no drama. We are a no drama zone. If anyone in my family has a problem with me or has something that they need to say to me because I've done something to them, I am game. I will do whatever it takes to nurture a strong mutual relationship. But any kind of one-sided games and manipulations, I don't have any time for. I hope this has helped you. If it hasn't, or if you have more questions about it, or you'd like to talk about it privately, let me know. I am excited about what I do. So anyway, until next time, my name's Chris Jaquez, and remember, today's your day. Make it a good one.